City and Guilds International Spoken ISESOL Test, Expert Level. Today is May 8, 2013. This is Mate Tot, and the test begins. Hello, my name is Thomas Bianco. Can you spell your family name for me, please?
Sure, it's Tot, T-O-T-H.
Okay, thank you. And where are you from?
Hungarian. I come from Eger.
Eger. Thank you. Now, in the first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself and your ideas. All right?
Sure.
Physical appearance. Some people believe that beautiful people have easier lives. What's your view?
To be completely honest with you, I think in a way this is entirely true. Physical appearance and the way you look in front of other people can obviously contribute to their opinion about you. But there's a negative aspect of this, obviously, because you shouldn't pigeonhole people by their appearance. I think it's much more important to get to know someone before you make a conclusion out of them. So that's my opinion about this.
Okay. Money management. Would you call yourself a big spender or a super saver, and why?
That's an interesting question. Since I'm quite young, I'm in my adolescent years, I don't get to spend too much money. I think it's not traditional, but I don't get to spend too much money on my own. But whenever I have money, I tend to kind of just spend it straight away. I even like to gamble sometimes, in a way. So I wouldn't call myself as a really money saver person. I'm not saying that this is good, by the way. I entirely disagree with the way I deal with money, but that's who I am.
Okay. Okay. Foreign language ability. What memories do you have of your first foreign language lesson?
Another interesting question. Well, I've been learning English ever since I was in first grade. Probably the very first lesson that I've ever had was just a very simple, let's get to know the colors and the numbers lesson. To be completely honest, in the very beginning I didn't really enjoy learning any kind of foreign language, but especially English. But it has developed over time, and now it's my favorite subject, and I don't feel nervous about it. So.
Okay. What makes some people better language learners than others?
I think it's ability that you're born with. I, for instance, claim myself to be an extremely good foreign language learner. I also learned German, and I find it really easy, to be honest. But I know people who have real struggles with understanding the grammar, the structures, and just speaking the language fluently in a way that it becomes natural, as if you were a native speaker. But for me, it's, for some reason, I don't know why, it's really easy.
Okay. Thank you. Part 2. I'm going to read some situations. I want you to start or respond as necessary.
All right.
The first situation, we're classmates, and I start. If I were you, I would rewrite the first paragraph.
Oh, really? That's what you think? I think I put a lot of thought into that first paragraph, especially. So I'm wondering why you think so.
Well, I just think that the middle part is unclear.
Yeah, you know, that's actually something I really wanted to ask from you, because I know that you're quite an expert on the field of this. And, well, if you say so, then I would definitely take a look at the first paragraph.
Okay, I think that would be a good idea.
I'm definitely going to take your advice.
Thank
I know
you.
that you understand this more than I do.
Thank you. Okay, I'm a policeman, and you've parked illegally. You start.
Hey officer, is there a problem?
There is a problem. You're parked illegally.
Sorry, I just went to the meter. I wanted to get a ticket, but you came here while I was away.
Well, I've been standing here for at least 5 minutes.
Well, unfortunately, I had to get some change in order to pay the meter, and I had to run to the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my excuse.
Well, that's your excuse. What do you think I should do?
I think you should be sympathetic about this, just this once, because I'm really a faithful person, and I wouldn't say that there's any reason why you should fine me.
Mm-hmm. Well, you seem like a nice young guy, but the problem is I have a boss, And if I come home at the end of my shift and I've not written any tickets, my boss is going to wonder, what have I been doing all day?
Unfortunately, I can totally understand your point, so I guess I just have a bad day now.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your understanding. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, you too.
Okay. Thank you. Part 3. Now, in this part, we're going to discuss something together. Let's see. This is your task sheet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we've been asked to rank a list of suggestions for overcoming stress. Let's discuss these ideas and try to agree on their order of helpfulness.
Okay.
Take 20 seconds and think about what you want to say. Okay, Mati, why don't you start?
Well, just as I took a look on the list, I have a pretty steam opinion about which one is the most important, and that is thinking positively.
Okay.
I've actually seen a movie about it. It's a book adaptation. It's called The Secret, and it basically suggests that every single thought we have in our lives attracts what happens to our life. And I tried it, it worked out for me, so I think this one is the most important. If you think positively, you will end up seeing positive results in your life. What do you think about this?
I've read that book, and I have some real questions about that. In fact, it reminded me of something else from the past. When did you read this book?
Actually, I didn't read the book. I have seen the movie adaptation of it, and it was a couple of months back,
Okay.
I would say.
And
I actually watched it several times. Every single time I got a bit lonely or something, I realized if I watch this again, I will get that good feeling that I got in the first time.
Okay. And what kind of positive results have you seen so far?
Medical improvement, I would say, because I had some problems that I would not really like to talk about, but this movie really helped me overcome them, and also some positive feedback from people around me. They told me that I look happier, I look like a much more free person.
Okay, that's important.
I understand that, and
so positive thinking. What else?
Get enough sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah, it's also important because of the simple fact that it also helps you to overcome any kind of stress. Basically, stress is caused by you being under some sort of pressure, and sometimes this pressure is caused because of you not being rested. So I would probably say that if you just get more sleep, like 8 hours a day, even more, it's definitely going to help you.
Okay.
What do you think about this? 'Cause
I think sleep's very important. I think it's super important, and in a busy world, it's harder and harder to find. But I do agree with you. So power of positive thinking, more sleep. What else?
Let's discuss what's least important, because that's our job as well. Learn to say no. I wouldn't say that.
Should I say no to my boss?
That's not what I'm saying. In just certain situations, whenever you have an option between saying no or actually saying yes without dignity, I would probably choose saying no because that's going to make you feel better. For instance, let's just think of something. You're on a date with a girl and she hasn't been responding to you well, but you want to pay the bill. If you're going to say yes, you're going to feel like, oh, I shouldn't have said yes. She wasn't being like a considerate person, so I just should have said no. But I don't think that's not necessarily an important point from this list.
So maybe that's the least important thing.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay. Well, how is saying no more often the same as our first thing, to be more positive? How do they work together?
Well, to be honest, obviously no suggests some sort of negative thought if we go to the subconscious level. But ultimately, I think the main difference between the two is that thinking positively should be essential in everyone's life. Learning how to say no to different and specific things is just dependent on you. So ultimately, you're going to end up even saying no or yes, but you should, under all circumstances, think positively. And that actually can be connected to laughter, because emotions bring really strong positive feelings to our lives. And it can immediately change our mood. and all the rest.
Okay, thank you. Part 4. In part 4, you're going to talk on your own for about 2 minutes. Let me just take this. Your topic is the importance of preserving wildlife habitats. So first, think about the topic for about 30 seconds. Make notes if you want.
I'm not sure I want to.
The topic is the importance of preserving wildlife habitats. I'll give you about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, Mate, please start.
Okay, since I'm a really environmentally friendly and eco-aware guy, I would probably say that I find this statement to be extremely true under all circumstances. Obviously, in today's world, we face many different types of environmental issues, such as pollutions, water and air pollution. But I think what's the most important is that would be protecting animals and protecting wildlife, and actually trying to improve zoos and national parks. The biggest problem, in my opinion, is that we tend to consider zoos and national parks to be some sort of positive things, like preserving wildlife. But is it really true? Because I don't think so. We keep animals in bondage and captivity, and I wouldn't say that it makes them feel good. I'm under the impression that we should let animals be free, and the biggest problem with this is that we cannot really protect their habitats, therefore we cannot let them be there. So I think what we should concentrate a lot more on is how to preserve the habitats. Like, obviously that eventually that comes down to pollution, because we cut the trees out, we face deforestation in our life as well. So I think if every single human being tried to get a bit more eco-friendly, then I think that would have a contribution on all kinds of environmental issues, including protecting natural habitats. In addition to this, I'm not saying that I'm completely against zoos, but in a way they completely use out animals and they sell them to the public eye. So I think what should be a much better option is, I don't know, like installing cameras around the specific huger areas and terrains, so that people can watch them, but they still feel very free. I think that would be a really good solution for this issue.
Okay. You mentioned before that people should try to be a little bit more eco-friendly.
Exactly.
Well, can you say a little bit more about that? Specifically?
It comes down to every single human being, as I said, but let's think of something more complex, like metropolises. There's a saying that metropolises and bigger urban cities cause all the kinds of pollutions, and that they should find a remedy for that. But I think it's not entirely true. We cannot blame specifically like big metropolises for causing these, because we don't do much about that either. Schools could do a lot as well. And schools, yeah. My school specifically could do a lot, because I'm not saying that we are completely against nature, but I don't see any facilities around the school, around the perimeter, that could contribute to a change. But ultimately it comes down to a change in our entire life, and I don't think that many people want to take the opportunity and change their life in order to make the future better.
Okay. What kind of changes, what kind of specific changes could they make around the school?
Installing wind turbines, or basically solar power could be used instead of electricity.
Yeah.
Obviously solar panels on the roof, or...
But those are expensive.
Yes, ultimately I think that they are worth. So obviously not immediately, but after a certain time they will pay themselves back. And that's what I think personally. But I'm also given the impression that it is worth all the money invested in it, because if we considered is that, oh, someone else will install solar panels, why should I do that? That's an extremely negative attitude, and I think we should lose that, from our lives.
Okay, thank you. That's the end of the test. Mate tof in the test.